Hey guys, this is Rob with the Oil Trading Room and IndicatorSmart.com with the Oil Trading Room recap for week ending June 28th. Oil Trading Room and Indicator Smart, where trading is science. And I'm going to show you why. First off, past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. There's a risk of loss trading futures. If you've never read this before, you can pause the recording and read this. Don't use the grocery money for trading. You know, I've trained a lot of traders, and I've never seen someone who's doing that be particularly successful. Yeah, so use risk capital as risk capital. Today I'm going to cover daily targets and some market mapping techniques using our probability walk table, which is a form of market mapping, and our super map. These are things, all these things actually, are things that you cannot see by looking at a chart. So 99% of the other traders out there just don't know what I'm about to show you. So what do these things help us to do? Well, they help us to know the most likely places where we're going to get range expansion. And they also show us what are the best areas to take profits. And it also can help us to know when the market is overdone or underdone, for that matter. For example, when the hit rate stats are met, or when the range stats are met or not. Yeah. So we'll take a look at that in just a second. We had some new reviews coming in this week, and you can check that out at oiltradingroom.com/reviews. This table right here is our what we call the 3-period probability walk table. And it tells us which periods are most likely to extend. These periods A, B, C, D, E, etc. are simply ways of marking out the 30-minute periods of the day. We use this because it doesn't matter what, once you do that, it doesn't matter what time zone you're in. Everything gets referenced to. A period, for example, is the first 30-minute period of the day, and B period is the second 30-minute period of the day, etc. Yeah. And so we just mark this out. So -2, for example, would be the 2 30-minute periods before the A period, before the first half hour of the day. Yeah. And then -1 to B would be that hour-and-a-half segment sequentially going forward. This is why we call this a walking table. It walks forward throughout the day. So every 30 minutes you just kind of taking a gander at this and seeing what's set up. So we knew this morning 93.75% that A period was going to break out there. And it's actually 100% right here that it was going to break the prior period. It was a -1 period. But it's 93.75% that it was going to extend out in the same direction that it had gone prior. And we also knew that the range at the end of that should be about 45 to 48 ticks, somewhere in there. Yeah. And we also know that CDE is likely to walk, or break higher at 87.5%. Yeah. I'll use those two as an example. Later on today, IJK will probably extend like that. Here's another interesting one. This is only 25% to do it in FGH, which means it's 75% against it doing it. You can take the difference there too. You can use that table in this way. So, and then we're going to look at a chart in a minute. We're going to cover these couple cases that we've discussed here. This one is another table that we use called our super map. The super map is just awesome. What it told us today in A period was that we were 80% to break the prior periods. 80%. But what was cool was it was telling us that we were going to break the prior 1 period by 15 ticks at 80%. We're going to break the prior period by 15 ticks at 80%. That's pretty cool. And then in D period, it told us we're going to break here. And then E period, we had 2 of them there. And so we knew it was pretty good probability that one was going to go. K period today is a very high probability that it's going to break out of the ranges of the prior periods. Yeah. What are other ways you could use this table? It also gives you the ranges on here. For example, we know at the end of the 3 periods of A is 46. You know. And so you know once you start getting to that level that the market's less likely to expand. That's what I was describing earlier. Yeah. What's another thing that we know here? In the next period, in B period, the second 30-minute period of the day, we know it's only 20% that we're going to break out of that range. Yeah, only 20% to do it by any margin. So when you get to that area, you know that the probabilities are stacked 80% against you to continue. 80% against to continue in that case. And so you want to, well, usually I'll often use the phrase, you want to protect yourself under those circumstances. So this this area here is actually the antithesis to this one. You know, you see some of these periods are only 10% to break. You know. And so you want to be careful in these areas. So this table just kind of maps out, and you can see in the darker colors here where it's more likely to be in your favor. You can see that significant range expansion tails off after the E or F period, and start getting these lighter colors over in here. And then this tells you that we're expecting about 115 ticks of range today based on the history, and 143 for the whole Globex session. These other things here will actually help you to predict whether or not you're ahead or behind that. And we call this concept probability to extend, or probability to get range expansion. And it will actually tell you by how much. Well, that kind of covers all the main things on this table. Let's take a look at a chart and see what actually happened. We knew in A period, based on our super map, that we would break that prior by 15 ticks. And it went there to the tick and turned around. Went there to the tick and turned around. That's this guy right here. And this morning, we actually drew a little box here. I drew it both sides. We drew a box here extending up to here. We broke out of here with this pattern that we call a 3D pattern. A 3D pattern. And extended out to that high and turned around there. Then what else did we know? We knew B period was 70% to break, and it did. And then it actually had a bit of a stat blowout. We call it a stat blowout. It extended down here. The other period I wanted to bring your attention to was this D and E period. These guys were a little bit darker here, and so that told us that the probability of getting expansion during those times was a little bit higher. Yeah, a little bit higher. And so we started, we call this boxing. You can see all these horizontal lines that I drew here. We call this boxing. And then we picked up this 3D pattern again. And then we also picked up what we call a double LB pattern right here. Yeah. And the market came higher here. What did we know at this juncture was that E period was likely to break the prior 2 periods, both D and C period, at, as I recall, 80% level. Yeah, 80%. And we went right up there to it. Yeah, we went right up there to it. And I drew that purple line there to show you that. Yeah, then that hooked again. We call this a 3DV pattern, and market continued higher there, but met the stat initially, going right to that edge and then fading back inside. Yeah, and these kinds of mapping patterns happen all day long, and this is a science of trading that I had learned. I did a little webinar on this a while back. This is a science of trading that I learned from a guy close to 30 years ago, 20 years ago, and taught me these kinds of techniques, and I've been doing them ever since, and I've advanced in that science quite a bit. And today we reduce these things down to these little maps that I've shown you here. And so you know if you're ahead or behind the curve. And it's very, very nice to trade this way because you know what to expect. You know when you're overdone and you know when you're underdone. You know, this is a very, very nice way of kind of knowing what's going on. This week, our daily targets were hit on 4 out of 5 days. Yesterday, we had a range-bound day. Market came down, tagged these targets. This one here, I'll just beyond it and then hook back up inside and reverse. This one, usually when you get these targets, you'll get consolidation following. And hit the target, consolidation, and reversal. Today we came down and we tagged that target to the tick, and have traded back up inside. This is our daily targeting system that we use in the room, and publish each day about 10 minutes after the market opens. Daily targets. Why is the oil trading room method not like anything else? Because we use science and statistics to find situations where probabilities are stacked in your favor or not, as we described looking at these mapping techniques. Yeah, you know where it's in your favor, you know where it's not, and when you trade in these areas after you get a little bit of experience doing it, you won't want to do it any other way. This is super comfortable to know that you got that stack in your favor in addition to your trading signals. A lot of the trading signals that we have in here, like these 3D patterns that I showed you, this guy here is up in the 90+% to go. You know, there's a 3D pattern going higher here. This one about 80+% to go, in addition to the targeting that's pulling it. So I said this is pushing, and going into the target is pulling it. Yeah. We came down and tagged that daily target to the tick right there. Market came back up inside, did some consolidation as I had mentioned, and then you picked up the higher dots in the break, and off it went and met the other stat. Yeah. So very, very nice. Thanks for letting me share some of these techniques that we use in the room with you to get high probability situations and statistical stacking, and just using scientific methods for achieving the outcomes that we are looking for. Yeah. Thanks for letting me share that. If you'd like to learn more, you can contact me through the website, or better yet, just sign up with the Oil Trading Room there off the home page, oiltradingroom.com. And if you key in the coupon code BLACKGOLD249, you'll get a nice discount. Yeah. You can learn more about the tools and resources that we've been discussing in this video and the Smart Patterns trading system at indicatorsmart.com. The videos there have all kinds of cool little trading secrets in them. And the Oil Trading Room, of course, where we do the kinds of things that I've described to you each and every day, and where I lecture for about 2 hours each day, about 10 hours a week, which is an invaluable resource, and I have a curriculum there in the members' resources for learning these kinds of methods and techniques that we cover in these weekly recaps. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to share with you. Have a super, super weekend. And I'm not sure what I'll do next week because it's a holiday, whether I'll have a recap or not. Next week is the holiday in the United States, and so we'll see how that works out, whether or not I'm going to be available for that. So this is what I got for this weekend, though. So thanks for letting me share, and we'll see you again on the next one. Thank you.